so many questions tonight still lingering about Rudy's alleged disappearance and what has been happening all of these years. Joining us now is NewsNation legal contributor Sara Azari. She's also a criminal trial attorney. Sara, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, Natasha.
The layers are hard to unravel here. So first of all, what a bizarre and unusual case. What do you make of all of this?
Well, look, I have, like our viewers, I have a lot of questions and very little answers, but I think this is really ultimately going to turn on the communications between Ms. Santana, the mother, and law enforcement. You know, one thing we have to remember that we don't have a duty to speak to law enforcement. We can refuse to speak to law enforcement, but we can't lie to law enforcement. And so those lies matter to the extent that she may have repeatedly reported him missing, or did she just report him missing that initial time. That's sort of a lot of it, the crux of this falsification of a report to law enforcement. And then, of course, the additional investigation into what conduct she may have engaged in behind closed doors, any kind of abuse or anything that we're starting to see some red flags. All of those are a whole Pandora's box of crimes that could potentially be prosecuted. But typically, Natasha, you know, these are crimes that are done to either for financial gain or to garner attention. I mean, I think it's akin to like the Jussie Smollett case, for example, where he falsified a report to garner attention.
You know, there is this major discrepancy we're tracking between what happened during the investigators' interview on Wednesday. On the one hand, we have that community activist, Quanell X. He says that Rudy said during that interview he was sexually abused and drugged by his mother. Police say that there were no such reports during that very same interview. What do you make of this?
Well, you know, the interesting thing about child abuse is that it's a secret, it's secret conduct. I mean, it's not done in public; it's done behind closed doors. And besides, I think him and his mother, nobody else would really know. I think that law enforcement really needs to, in these types of cases, and I've defended many of these. There's a focus on credibility, corroboration to the best that they can. And really that Rudy is the witness. I mean, he's the victim and the witness. I don't think that the mother would have made that known or would have tried to, hide it to the extent possible. So we need to know a lot more about what went on behind closed doors. But it's got all the flags. It's got all the red flags of something bad, essentially, between the mom and the son.
Yeah, and yesterday Quanell came on our air and he confirmed that Rudy was at home with his mother now. After that police interview on Wednesday, Quanell says that he begged officers to not let Rudy go back with his mother. In your opinion, are police dropping the ball here? Should Rudy not be at home with his mom tonight?
Well, Rudy's an adult now. I mean, when he went missing, he was 17. He was a minor. So he can choose to voluntarily stay in that home. There's been also reports that he may not be, he's an adult, but he may be delayed. I'm not sure if that's accurate. I mean, as an adult, it's still abuse. We even have cases of elder abuse. You can't abuse anybody, no matter what age. But in terms of staying or leaving and the ability of law enforcement to get involved and removing him from the home, it's a little bit more difficult when you're dealing with an adult. A child, obviously, Child and Family Protective Services can come in and easily take the child on the most basic allegation. But in this case, I think they need to actually have some evidence and have something confirmed before they can, engage in a sort of a welfare type of action.
We know the Houston DA says that they've decided to not file any charges at this point in the investigation. Do you suspect that charges will eventually be filed? And in that case, do you think it will be against both of them?
It could be. Again, what has Rudy said to law enforcement? To the extent that Rudy may have made misrepresentations, Rudy himself could be liable. The mom, of course, if, for example, somebody had said that he came back the next day, but if she continued to make false reports, then she's certainly on the hook for, fraudulent reports to law enforcement. I think the abuse issues that you brought up, what evidence of abuse there might be, is a whole, Pandora's box of other crimes. Fraud for sympathy and financial gain is another issue that I foresee. And then also civil penalties for the wasted resources of law enforcement.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.